again?
Talk, 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 talk. Husband said to talk. Talk, 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 talk. Talk, talk, talk. I pretend I'm a politician. I'm running for office. Talk, 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 talk. Yak, 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 talk, 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 yak, 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 yak.
I'm still figuring this out. It's so weird.
It's just what's weird to me is that it just wasn't there. We didn't change anything. We didn't do anything. It's just it's not there. Weirdness. Alright, keep on just making my cards. It's kind of like you get into the groove of making them and it just becomes this wonderfully peaceful activity. Scraps go over there.
Seems kind of okay now.
Alright. Okay, we're just going to assume it's all done.
Alright.
Okay.
I think I figured it out.
Alright. Well, it's just the same old thing. I'm just sitting here. I've got my little bits. I've all cut up that whole folder because I really like that pattern. I cut the whole folder up. And now I'm just sitting here putting them on different colors. Like I kind of like that. And I kind of like that. That's interesting. Once I get them all on here, then I can, this yellow, even though there's no yellow in it, or I guess in that red there's sort of a blend there. It visually reads a little bit yellow. But the yellow's working out nice as a color. It's just all about palette. You just have all this stuff out in front of you, and then I like that. And some of them I like more than others. You know, as I said, I normally do, you know, maybe 100 of a time. You put them on the different ones, see which one you like. If the black runs all the way up to the edge, it creates a whole different platform because it looks like it's going right on through. Here's the orange. But it's a nice way just to, you know, sit around and use up some of your little scraps. And I think I like the pattern on these enough that instead of sewing them on the sewing machine, I think they are going to go right in there. See? Another nice one. Just little abstracts. I always think it's neat when an abstract thing sort of reminds you of something. And these remind me a little bit of cherries or apples. So it's not a really cold day in Ohio, but we've got about 35 degrees, so the furnace is kicking on in the warehouse every once in a while. All my scraps are over here. You know, me and my scraps. Now, since I decided that I didn't want, I need more tape. It's over here someplace. Got my tape? There's some of my tape. Usually I would put these on the sewing machine and sew them like I did our last set. But even if I change the color of the thread, it's going to take away from this pattern that I've created on here, and I really sort of like it just the way it is. If I make black lines or red lines, it'll detract from those strong forms. Almost Maplethorpe's, I like them. So that means that we have to glue the top one down, and then glue again. Not glue, sorry, tape. So Positive numbers, yeah. Yeah, we are supposed to have only growing temperatures for the next 9 days. So we woke up to a little bit of snow this morning, and we had snow yesterday, but it melted, but then we got fresh. There. And just to show you how nice that is, that's just scrap paper, painted. There's a neat little card. You know, a whole stack of them. They have a nice texture. They're individually done. Each one's unique. Yeah, we didn't have a bad winter at all. We should be grateful. It really wasn't that bad at all. But a lot of folks have said they're just ready for spring. I think we only had maybe, I don't think we even had 10 days that were down to 0. You know, really bone-chilling days. It just wasn't that bad. Another thing that's good to do with these, especially if you've sewn them, I always think it's nice before you give them away to let them sit for a day or two with a big heavy book on top of them. And that gives me a little time away from them, so that if I just put them all like that, then when I get them back out, I sort of arrange them by, you know, they sort of divide themselves into sets after you've had a little time. There's another one. And you could certainly, if you wanted your paper to go a lot farther, you could certainly, you know, cut out a circle or a smaller square. You could double mat it, but that would get into a lot more tape. But they're just simply, you know, astoundingly beautiful. And you don't really know what you're going to be making when you're painting the big sheet of paper. It's not until you not only cut it out, but then you have to figure out what color mat you're going to put behind it, what color card it's going to have. All those things change the image. They're all a little different. There's those 3. Now at 40% off, the box of 50 cards with the matching envelopes was, let's see, it would have been $10, so 40%, they would be $6 in tax. And the rest of it's scraps, you know, scraps, leftover paints. If you don't mind dumpster diving, sometimes after a house or someplace is painted, a restaurant's been revamped, you can go by in the dumpster and they'll just put all the cans of extra paint, they'll just throw them in there. They don't keep them. Usually if your friends are moving, they've got some 5 and 10-year-old paint. Full winter in the mountains. Oh, geez, I can't even imagine. Snow. So did you like it? I mean, is it like you got used to it and you prefer it now, or you getting ready to move? We were in Michigan before we lived in Ohio. And I think the first winter we were in Ohio was more horrible than the ones we were used to in Michigan, but then we found out our friends were really getting whacked up there. It actually was better. But I mean, every day scraping off the car. You go somewhere for an hour and a half to go shopping, you have to come out and re-scrape off your car. Do you ski or make some use of it? Toboggan? Snowboard? Run a big husky walking dog service? Well, I gotta tell you, Papa, you're sure making this more interesting than just sitting here and trying to find something on the radio. It's much nicer to talk to a real person. Are you experienced about it, or do you have somebody who can take you and kind of help you figure it out? I always thought the ski lodge and the fire and the hot chocolate, I thought that part looks real good, but the part about going out there, not so much. Yeah. And you know, you probably won't believe this, but I have actually offered people the space if they want to come in and, you know, make things, or if they want to come learn woodworking, and a couple times they'll come, once or twice. You know, I've offered free drawing lessons because I used to teach drawing in college. I don't know, I just can't kind of get people, even when it's free and even when the materials are given to them, I don't know. I don't know what's, you know, check my deodorant, but don't know why. I just don't know why. They just don't want to learn it, I guess. They've been adding lots of snow sports to the Olympics. I was amazed. Like, I didn't know that was in the Olympics. I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was. We have a place called, yeah. And, you know, when people were stuck with me for their drawing teacher in college, when they signed up and they paid and they had to keep coming, or flunk, you know, they would tell me that I was the best drawing teacher they'd ever had. I made it so much fun. You know, they really improved their skills. They have 4 years of drawing in high school, and they learned more in my class in 10 weeks. Just, you know, nice stuff. And, you know, I could offer that to someone for free, but, yeah. Well, I ran out of tape, so give me just like 10 seconds to go to the office. Hello. Yeah, my warehouse has, it's basically a big square, and a corner of it has been made into an office. So the office supplies are in there, packing supplies for boxes I'm shipping, all my books and records. But the office is not heated. So once it gets really good and cold in the winter, I end up coming out here, you know, bringing my paperwork or whatever. And it always feels weird in the winter. It gets dark so early, you know, it's 4 o'clock, it's dark. So sometimes that makes me feel more tired than I really should. So I'll take my books and stuff and go home. Then summer will come and we'll be eating dinner at 8 o'clock at night and not think anything of it.